like I've only seen two dynamics that work in relationships over like an extended period of time. One is kind of the like we're in it together, and the other is like the, you know, cheerleader and quarterback, like cheering you on. But the thing is like I can speak a lot to the, you know, we're in the game together. For me, I know personally, like I had two very long relationships that were cheerleader dynamics. And to me, I could not imagine living life that way, having now lived what I live now. Because like there's a certain amount of shared respect that you never get with somebody who does not know what it's like to be in the battlefield or in the arena. And if I'm like, I need to work for the next 3 days and like write 5 book chapters, like there's not a discussion. It's like, of course, do your thing. There's no like, I can't believe you're like, And to the flip side, in the cheerleader dynamic, a cheerleader who's really rooting for the team doesn't ask the quarterback to come out when the game's on the line. And so I think that a lot of people are running in what they consider to be cheerleader dynamics, but they are inverted dynamics. They're actually sabotaging the game. And I think that it's like in that dynamic, it's harder, in my opinion, to do the cheerleader quarterback because you have to have a very aligned mission and goals of like the relationship. It's easier to do that in the dynamic that you're working together because it's so clearly stated with the mission and the goals of like, this is where I want to go and this is how I want to get there, and like, do you want to come with me? And then you're very much operating on this shared sense of reality. And it also becomes difficult for entrepreneurs, in my opinion, now, like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen plenty of people get divorces as they get older and whatnot, is that like, if you're like, all right, this will be interesting. So typically when people become attracted, so Esther Perel, if you've heard of her, she's really interesting, like relationship person. She's like one of the top TED Talks on it. I think it's called Mating Captivity is her book. But in the beginning, you have kind of this mystery because you don't know each other, and that's what creates like the excitement, right? And as you get to know each other over time, you swing like from mystery to familiarity, right? You get a little bit more security, you get to know each other better, and it feels like more and more amazing. And so what you do is you just keep trying to do that, right? But what ends up happening is that you overcorrect, and then you become siblings. And then it's like, well, that's not good. And so it's not a problem to be solved, but a dichotomy to be managed, right? In terms of like how much space do you create versus how much familiarity. What happens when people, like entrepreneurs specifically, like have their business and they have the wife, they spend more time in the beginning, and all of a sudden they don't spend as much time together, and then they grow apart because they're also exposed to different stimuli, right? And so you adapt to the stimuli that you have, and then you grow apart. On the flip side, if you're in my scenario where we're like doing the same thing together, the downside of this one, these couples make 5 times more money than any of the other versions that I just said. But you can become too familiar, and then you just become siblings. So for us, we actually create more space. So it's like we try to work on separate sides of the house. We don't attend the same meetings. So like at the end of the day, we can sit down at dinner and be like, how was your day? And she can tell me something rather than me saying like, oh, I was there, I know, right?
Yeah.
And so the happiest couples are actually couples that have both have careers that are not necessarily together. So on average, these couples are the ones that, because they have a shared goal in terms of like, this is what we want to do. They have shared values in terms of how they want to get there. And they respect one another, and they respect each other's goals, and then they walk kind of in parallel. So you've got the, like, I'm working the entrepreneur, and then you've got the stay-at-home wife. There's many times everyone's seen that one go wrong. There's the, like, we're both working together in it, where these people have to correct for trying to create more familiarity. These ones have to create more space, so you have the space to be missed. And then these ones tend to be in the middle already, and so they just kind of like have to keep walking. And so for me, it was actually just interesting seeing the different dynamics and like how we had to correct in the beginning. Like we spent all day every day together, and the business was small, so it was like she was there and I was here, and we worked out together and we ate together, and we did that for like 2 years. And I was like, maybe I'll sit on different meetings than you.
Yeah.
But like seeing the level of like commitment and loyalty that you get from that, and I don't know. So I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I have strong beliefs around that. And I think that you don't have to compromise anything if you don't want to.